Hello. Hello. Good evening. Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, Tilak, you can start.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Well, I'm, I'm currently pursuing psychology, a trained counseling psychologist. And today, as a part of Silent Door, we are conducting a workshop based on understanding and overcoming mental blocks to sexual well-being, a part of sex therapy. This was the major focus today to have a workshop regarding sexual wellness or sexual well-being when it comes to the relation between sexual health and psychology. So before we begin, I would like to take you all for the first slide. So before knowing what really is sex therapy or sexual wellness, one has to know about their orientation, one has to know about their interest, disinterest, right? I hope you all are able to hear me. Can I get a thumbs up or any response from any of you guys?
Yes, Tala.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so first let's understand what actually is sexuality, what is healthy sexuality. So when it comes to sexuality, we can frame it in another term called orientation or maybe interest. So, healthy sexuality means feeling comfortable with your sexual identity, desires, and boundaries. So, since this topic is very tabooed in our country or maybe across the globe, we are often confused about our interest or maybe about our orientation. So, this is what might lead to non-exploration of things in our lives. And that might lead to a lot of doubts, self-doubts, and doubting on your partner. Maybe your interest could be something else. So you might just end up blaming your partner. So so to know yourself first, the exploration of one's own identity or one's own sexuality is the baby step that every other person has to take, is what I actually feel. So, what is healthy sexuality? So, healthy sexuality is something that you're accepting yourself. You are accepting yourself the way you are and making yourself feel comfortable about feeling whatever you're feeling and whatever you're like, whatever you like and whatever you dislike. So the definition here says that healthy sexuality means feeling comfortable with your sexual identity, desires, and boundaries. So what really does healthy sexuality involve? So it involves mutual consent and respect for two people to come together and have a emotional connection or a physical connection. A mutual consent is required where the other person gives a consent to you that yeah, they do have some sort of emotional connection with you, they do have some respect for you. Without having these two things, I don't think so anything can take a step ahead after this. And the second one is open communication. Yeah, we all know that people really lack in talking these kind of things, and which we actually respect about because we are not surrounded ourselves with sometimes we are not surrounded ourselves with the people who are ready to accept you the way you are, or ready to listen to whatever you're saying to them. But open communication and being upfront about whatever you're feeling might help you in some sort of way to know your own sexuality or to validate yourself and maybe educate or maybe psycho-educate the other person about yourself. And the third one is freedom from shame or guilt. A lot of things that goes around with a person when they're actually in their exploration stage where they might get to hear offensive comments and might get to hear defensive comments as well. So the anything that a person hears during this exploration stage might lead to shame or maybe guilt, which might result in ending up emotionally hurt or being very offended. And the last one is emotional and physical well-being. Once you start accepting yourself the way you are, you eventually emotionally start accepting yourself and you start looking for the same sort of emotional connection or maybe physical connection. So, looking after yourself with the way you are and accepting about the way you are will result in a healthy emotional well-being and a physical well-being. And the last point that I have put here is about it's about having a positive and confident approach to your sexuality. Yes, without you being confident about yourself or without you being very sure about what you are and what you're actually feeling, no other person can actually help you to explore all these things. And exploration do takes a lot of time, but having a good, healthy validation from the people around you or you knowing about yourself. And yeah, sexuality is a spectrum in the end where your interest might be this someday, or it might shift the next year, or maybe the next month, or a day later. So it's always a spectrum. You get to know by talking to people, or you get to know by exploring yourself, is what I feel. Um, from the next slide, Chelsea is going to explain it. Do you hand over you to Chelsea?
Hi everyone, I'm Chelsea. I hope I am audible and I hope I'm visible.
Yes, yeah.
Yes, you're audible and visible.
Okay, so why is it important to address psychological barriers? So psychological barriers like fear, shame, guilt, and anxiety can stop people from fully enjoying their relationships and intimacy. So as the first point says, it improves confidence and self-esteem. So when you learn to manage and challenge negative thoughts, you begin to see yourself and your body in a more positive way. Letting go of self criticism, unrealistic standards can even boost your self esteem, helping you feel more comfortable in your own skin. This positive mindset can improve your overall well being and make you more open to intimacy. Confidence plays a key role in creating a fulfilling and enjoyable sex life. When you feel good about yourself, you're more likely to express your needs, set boundaries, and engage in intimacy without fear or shame. Next is it reduces stress and anxiety. Constantly worrying about how you perform, whether your partner will accept you, or your past negative experiences can make intimacy feel stressful rather than enjoyable. These thoughts create anxiety, making it harder to be present in the moment and fully connect with your partner. Over time, this stress can reduce desire and make intimacy feel like a pressure filled task instead of a pleasurable activity. Next is it strengthens relationships. So, open and honest communication allows partners to express their thoughts, feelings, desires without any fear or judgment. When both partners feel heard and understood, it creates a stronger emotional bond and reduces misunderstandings. Hence, discussing needs, boundaries, and expectations help build trust and ensure that both parties feel comfortable and vulnerable enough to be in that particular situation. It also helps overcome trauma and negative experiences. So definitely past experiences, if you had like a negative experience like with a past partner, it will definitely have an impact on your current situation. So past experiences like I mentioned, unhealthy relationships, emotional neglect, or a traumatic event can deeply impact how a person views intimacy. These experiences may lead to fear, anxiety, or hesitation when it comes to forming close connections. Someone who has been hurt, Tilak, go up to the previous slide. Yes. So, yes, of course, it definitely hinders how you might view intimacy in your current relationship, which will definitely cause an unpleasant situation and an unpleasant engagement for both the partners. Next is it encourages healthy boundaries and consent. So setting boundaries and maintaining boundaries is not just about protecting yourself. It's also about fostering mutual respect in your relationship. When you understand your own limits, it becomes easy to recognize and respect your partner's needs and comfort levels as well. This creates a balanced, trusting dynamic where both partners feel valued and heard. And lastly, it enhances your overall well being. Sexual health is closely connected to mental and emotional well being as it influences how we feel about ourselves, our relationships, and our overall quality of life. When you have a healthy understanding of your sexuality and feel safe expressing it, it can boost self confidence, reduce stress, enhance emotional connections with your partner. A healthy approach to sexuality also includes access to accurate information, self care, and the ability to make informed choices that support both physical and emotional well being. Yes, Tilak, up to the next slide, please. So, yes, how do emotions and thoughts shape sexual desire? Sexual desire isn't just about physical, it's also influenced by what we feel and what we think. So, yes, stress and worry can definitely kill the mood. When you're overwhelmed by stress, whether from work, family responsibilities, or daily life challenges, your mind becomes preoccupied with all these worries and to do lists. This mental overload leaves little room for relaxation or emotional connection, making it difficult to be present in intimate moments. Stress can also drain your energy, lower your mood, and even shift your focus away from physical and emotional closeness. Next is feeling good about yourself boosts desire. Feeling confident and comfortable in general. When you feel confident and comfortable in general, it enhances almost everything, how you may function in your daily life. Similarly, it also has an impact in your sexual life, even. So, it definitely plays a major role in how you experience your intimacy. When you accept and appreciate yourself, you're more likely to feel at ease with your partner, allowing you to focus on connection and pleasure rather than self doubt. A positive self image can enhance your ability to be present in the moment, making intimacy a more enjoyable and fulfilling experience. Okay, yes. Next one is past experiences shape how you feel about sex. Like I mentioned before, past experiences can be traumatic, emotional neglect, anything which has a negative connotation can definitely have an impact about how you feel about sex. So when you have a positive experience such as feeling valued, respected, and safe in intimate moments, it can build confidence and excitement. These experiences create a sense of trust, emotional closeness, making intimacy feel natural, fulfilling, and enjoyable. They reinforce the idea that intimacy is a space for connection, pleasure, and mutual understanding. Emotional connection matters. Yes, emotional connection does matter because intimacy is more than just a physical connection. It thrives mostly on emotional closeness, trust, and affection. When you feel valued, loved, and emotionally connected to your partner, it deepens the meaning of intimate moments, making them more fulfilling and more enjoyable. A strong emotional bond fosters feelings of security and appreciation, allowing both the partners to be vulnerable and fully present with each other. And of course, what you believe about sex definitely affects your interest. So, whatever we've been learning about sex while growing up play a major role in shaping our attitudes, beliefs, and comfort levels around intimacy. If you were raised in an environment where sex was portrayed as maybe shameful, sinful, or something to be avoided, you may carry those beliefs into adulthood. Even in a loving and a healthy relationship, you might struggle with feelings of guilt or discomfort around intimacy. These ingrained beliefs can create internal conflicts, making it difficult to fully embrace and enjoy sexual experiences. And lastly, your mood plays a big role. Your emotional state has a significant impact on your level of sexual desire. When you feel happy, relaxed, and content, your mind is open to pleasure, connection, and intimacy. Positive emotions reduce stress and allow you to be more present in the moment, making it easier to experience desire and enjoy closeness with your partner. Yes. Next slide, please, Dila. Okay, so the next is the role of cognitive processes in sexual desire. So cognitive processes play a major role in how individuals experience sexual arousal and response. The way a person thinks about sex, themselves, and their partner can either enhance or inhibit their sexual experiences. So, first off is perception and interpretation of stimuli. The brain plays a central role in the sexual response, acting as the command center for desire and arousal. Sexual experiences are not just physical, they are deeply influenced by thoughts, emotions, and perceptions. The way a person interprets a situation, whether they find it exciting, stressful, or uninteresting, determines how their body responds. If the brain perceives some perceives a situation to be arousing, it triggers a series of physiological responses, such as increased blood flow, heightened sensitivity, and the release of the feel-good hormones, which we know as dopamine and oxytocin. These signals prepare the body for intimacy, increasing desire and pleasure. Next is self-talk or the inner dialogue. The way you talk to yourself has a huge impact on your confidence, emotional state, and the overall experience. Negative self talk like, I'm not attractive, oh, I don't think I'm good enough, or maybe I don't think my partner will be satisfied, can create a lot of anxiety, a lot of doubt, making it difficult to relax and enjoy the moment. Oh, my electricity went off. These critical thoughts can lead to performance anxiety, where the fear of meeting expectations takes over, making intimacy feel more like a test than a natural and pleasurable experience. Whereas practicing positive self talk, like I am desirable or I deserve pleasure, helps reduce anxiety and create a sense of comfort and confidence. When you focus on feeling present and secure, your body is more likely to respond positively, enhancing arousal and making intimacy more fulfilling. And up last is the cognitive distractions and anxiety. Intimacy is most enjoyable when you're fully present in the moment, but overthinking can create a lot of mental barriers that take away from the experience. Worrying about performance, over analyzing your partner's reactions, or even feeling self conscious about your body can shift your focus from pleasure to anxiety. Instead, enjoying the sensations and emotional connection, your mind gets caught up in doubts and insecurities, making it harder to relax and engage fully. Hence, practicing mindfulness can help break this pattern by shifting your attention from negative thoughts back to the present experience. Mindfulness involves focusing on the sensations of touch, breath, and connection rather than letting all the worries take over. Some interventions can be, as you all know, as CBT or cognitive behavioral therapy, which would influence your cognitive restructuring or challenging the negative thoughts. This can help a person develop a healthier relationship with the sexuality. And definitely, therapy, relaxation techniques, and communication with your partner can support a very positive sexual experience. Next slide, please. Yes. Effects of stress, anxiety, and mood disorder on sexual health. So, mental health plays a major role in the sexual well being. Stress, anxiety, and mood disorders can affect sexual desire, arousal, and satisfaction in different ways. So, stress and its impact on sexual health. So, firstly, there is chronic stress triggers the release of cortisol. Cortisol is your stress hormone. So while cortisol is helpful in short bursts, like helping you react to challenges and stay alert, prolonged elevation, or which is the constant presence of cortisol, can have a very negative effect on your body, including reduced sexual desire. There's also a reduced blood flow and arousal. So Some of y'all might know, stress can trigger the fight or flight mode, which redirects blood flow away from the non-essential functions, including sexual arousal, and towards areas needed for immediate survival, like the heart or the muscles. So this redirection can lead to a decreased circulation in the genitals, making it more difficult to experience arousal or maintain sexual function. Anxiety and sexual issues. So, performance anxiety occurs when a person feels pressure to meet certain expectations during intimacy, leading to stress and self doubt. This can stem from the fears of not being good enough, worries about satisfying a partner, or past experiences of feeling very inadequate. The fear of being judged by a partner, whether about one's appearance, abilities, or even desires, can create a lot of anxiety that leads to avoidance of intimacy. So, if a person worries that they won't be able to meet their partner's expectations, they may withdraw emotionally or even physically rather than risk feeling vulnerable. Last is the mood disorders. So, under mood disorders, depression even comes. So, depression can significantly reduce your libido by affecting your mood, energy levels, and the overall interest in pleasurable activities. People experiencing depression often struggle with feelings of sadness, hopelessness, or even fatigue, making intimacy feel unimportant or even overwhelming. Depression doesn't just affect the mood, it can create emotional numbness, making it difficult for people to even connect with their partner. People with depression may feel emotionally shut down or disconnected, even in close relationships. This detachment can make intimacy feel very distant, unfulfilling, or even unwanted. Some interventions are definitely, like I mentioned before, stress management techniques, which include mindfulness, exercise, and relaxation techniques. This can definitely lower the cortisol level and improve your sexual health. Next is, of course, open communication. Discussing your fears and concerns with your partner can reduce your anxiety and improve your connection, because many a times we have the wrong conception. Sometimes the partner might not be thinking the way we might think that, okay, my partner is thinking that way in a more negative connotation. So that might, remove all the haziness, right? Next is definitely professional support. Therapy, like I mentioned before, CBT, it can definitely help address mental health and sexual concerns. You can also go to sex therapy. That will definitely help with your sexual concerns. And lastly, medication adjustments. So people for depression, sometimes there can be chances that the medication that they are prescribed can have a negative impact on their libido. So yes, sometimes medication can hamper with the libido. So hence discussing alternative options with a doctor may definitely help. That's all from my part. And yes, over to Tilak to continue with the presentation.
All right, thank you, Chelsea. So now we are going to move to a topic where we are going to discuss what really sexual trauma is. So we generally know that there are a lot of, kinds of traumas, and sexual trauma is also one of the major, actually, the issues that have been uh, facing or that have been presented a lot lately. So, what really sexual trauma is? Sexual trauma refers to any unwanted or non-consensual sexual experience. It can happen to anyone, regardless of age, gender, or background. The impact is not just physical, but deeply psychological and emotional as well. So, as I read these points, we know that sexual trauma can result because of a conduct of act from one person to another without having a consent from the other person, where it can be either conducted in a very forceful way or without the knowledge of the other person. So this might lead to a trauma, development of a trauma in a person, which results in sexual trauma. And the second one could be, and sexual trauma can happen to anyone, regardless of their age, gender, background. And the third one is sexual trauma does not affect you just physically. I know the harm starts with happening for the harm starts with physicalness, but it leads to emotional impact and psychological impact, which results in trauma in future. And okay, next, what understanding sexual trauma? Again, I have just cut these points in a very several points. Again, we will have to keep majorly three things in our head, saying that any act or any sexual act or any sort of sharing of sexual things from one person to another without the consent of another person. And the second one is harassment or assault or things like that. The third one is survivors. So when it comes to survivors of this trauma, they tend to be very paranoid about having some sort of physical touch or physical relationship with any of them in the future. So this is where a professional helps come in to them, saying that what really means to them as of now and what they really prefer. And the next one is it, as I said, it's just not physical. It starts with physical, but it affects emotional well-being of a person and which leads to psychological distress as well. And again, healing is a journey. It's not just a process, it's a journey. It involves a lot, just like therapy, self-care, and support from trusted individuals.